Go.
I can't wait for football. I cannot wait.
Me too.
I can't wait. I just can't wait for Aaron Rodgers to make a decision. 41 years old. Is he going to retire? Maybe do Joe Rogan full time? Maybe Jeopardy? Maybe run for president? Or is he going to show up to camp for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I thought it was hilarious on Fox Sports 1. Joy Taylor and everybody overreacted. Oh, my God, I can't believe he's not at OTAs. He's not a member of the roster. He's not on the team, so he doesn't need to show up. And I also think this is why Rodgers didn't commit. So the whole thing with Joe Rogan, I don't recommend anybody have to sit through 3 hours of that thing. But somebody in his family, or he's got a new girlfriend or fiance or something. Some people think he's married because he's been wearing a wedding ring. Who cares? All I know is that somebody, unfortunately, is dealing with cancer, is what he said on the podcast. So he's going through some personal stuff right now. So I eventually think he shows up. But if he can't fully commit and he's not there at OTAs, this is what everybody would be talking about, overreacting to Aaron Rodgers not being at OTAs. So I eventually do think he's the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. No way they go into the season with Mason Rudolph as their starting quarterback. We got some audio, and I missed this. Terry Bradshaw's always hated Aaron Rodgers. A couple of years ago, he had the take that he would have chose Mike McCarthy over Aaron Rodgers. I almost died laughing from this because I think Terry Bradshaw is an old geezer. But here's what he had to say about the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. We actually have that audio here on BetMGM tonight.
What do you think about possibly Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback? That's a joke. He shouldn't. That is just, to me, is a joke. What are you going to bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? I mean,
that's not the Steelers' way, right?
No, man. That guy needs to stay in California and go somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there.
100%. These guys on the show, Mr. Bradshaw, know I'm not a fan of his. We've been around each other personally, and he was not a kind person.
Now, he does not. I had to go over and introduce myself to him. He's not. I had to go, hey, Aaron, I'm Terry Bradshaw. I know he knows me, but I just felt like I better tell him who I am.
Yeah.
And not, you walk in there and you get in his presence and you feel like it's going to start snowing. So.
I tell you, Hank, I don't even want him. I would rather win 6 games here with Mason Rudolph than even consider Aaron Rodgers. He needs to go back to California and chew on some bark. What the hell did I just listen? What is that, KSIB 1340 in Creston, Iowa? Shout out to them, though. That's actually where I cut my teeth. But no, I mean, I will agree, though, the whole thing. Everybody, I keep seeing all these little bottom line things, and even on the network, what's next for Aaron Rodgers? And even me, the president of the Aaron Rodgers fan club, with Steelers tickets now, I don't really care all that much, dude. I eventually think he shows up, and if he doesn't, then he doesn't. Then he's calling it quits. Then he's retired. Yep. But, I mean, after the last 2 years in New York, I really don't care, dude. I wasted enough money on Jets futures the last couple of years. I don't want him to retire and go out with a 5-win season in New York. I'd like to see him and Mike Tomlin, pair up. Do you want to see that, though, Pj, as a Ravens fan? Does it even scare you? Would that even scare you? I mean, obviously a little bit more than Mason Rudolph, I feel, right?
It does. I mean, look,
Rodgers
obviously isn't the player that he once was, but he's certainly better than, he's better than Mason Rudolph, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah, anybody is.
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers always scare me, and Tomlin always scares me, especially playing in Pittsburgh. So the AFC North's a funny division, man. As soon as you think you have something figured out, another thing happens. I, as a Ravens fan, certainly do not want Aaron Rodgers to be a Steeler, but I'm kind of expecting it to happen at this point. I think he's going to be.
I think he's going to be too, dude. I just can't see him going out like that. Mm-hmm. We ain't going out like that. We ain't going out. He was actually pretty damn good the last 5-6 games of the season. I mean, the issue was, dude, he played 3 snaps year 1 and tore his Achilles at 40 years old.
And you could tell that was so in his head the first couple weeks. He was in his own way.
Yeah.
Especially against San Francisco with that pass rush week 1. He just wanted to get the ball out of his hands super quick. So.
Yeah. Do the Bengals, what do you think about the Bengals? Do you think everybody's overhyping them a little bit too much? Because I love Burrow, Higgins, Chase Brown, hell, even Mike Gesicki, and they fixed up the offensive line. But are they going to be able to get consistent stops, man? Because last year, Joe Burrow put up MVP-type numbers, and they still didn't make the playoffs. And, yeah, I mean, having T. Higgins and Jamar Chase is awesome, but they paid both of those dudes this offseason. That's a lot of money, and now you have Trey Hendrickson pissed off, the only guy consistently that gets pressure on the quarterback. I like the Al Golden hire, but I also like Lou Anarumo, and that team made a Super Bowl run a couple years ago. So I'm not running out to bet Bengals futures. Won't shock me, though, if they do win 11, 12 games.
No, I agree with you. It's they're a tough team, right? Because everybody's like, well, this team only won 9 games last year, and it's like the same offense, and their defense is even worse. But if the Bengals don't screw around in the first 7 games of the season and they win the games right, then they win 11 and 12. So the Bengals in the second half of last year did a great job at winning the games that they were supposed to win. And then they lost so many tight games, Ryan. I mean, both games against the Ravens, they easily could have won. The Sunday night game against the Chargers, they easily could have won. There were a lot of coin flip games that didn't go their way. So while a lot of people are looking at the record and they're looking at the defense and how it might not be great, I'm looking at the fact that they could have won 12, 13 games last year. So, if they are able to stay healthy, I think Higgins really is a big key. Because when him and Chase are both out there, those are 2 number ones. I mean, they are really difficult to deal with. If Higgins can stay healthy and Burrow, obviously, and Chase can stay healthy, and some of those games that didn't go their way last year go their way this year, I mean, that could easily be an 11-win team, 12-win team.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, dude. Jamar Chase, as awesome as he is, and he's awesome without T. Higgins, his splits with Higgins on the field, because you have to pay so much attention to him, especially in the red zone, are so much better. That's when you could get a 14, 15,000 yard season from Jamar Chase, or 100, not 1,000, 100-yard season. So yeah, I think that's a good point. The good thing that they got going for him is they have notoriously got off to these slow starts. Also, Burrow wasn't fully healthy going into the year last year. Remember, he had that weird hand injury. I like T. Higgins over 6.5 touchdowns, man. He's the red zone threat. I think he scores 10 like he did last year. The only thing that scares me is he did get paid, so now it's not a contract year. What they have going for him this year, though, is they kick off the season against the Browns. I'm not going to lie. Nobody's going to bet the Browns in that game except me. I think it's a 4.5-point spread. Cleveland's at home. They always beat up on Joe Burrow, dude. And it's still Myles Garrett. I don't care who the quarterback is. I think the Bengals will win that game, but I think they'll do it by a field goal. And they need to prove it to me that they could actually show up in the beginning of the season. Yep. But at least this year, it's an easier schedule to kick off the year. On the road against the Browns, who are projected to win 4.5 games this year. Week 2, you get the Jags. Their win total is 7.5. Week 3, you get the Vikings with J.J. McCarthy as the starting quarterback. Granted, that's a road game. So they could get off to a 3-0 start, man. That's been their issue, though.